Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. And as many of you will have already realised, my wonderful scrolling titles of doom have returned. It's a great day for internet-based video gameplay broadcasting. I don't know what happened. XSplit just decided to stop being retarded. I got a patch or something. Phenomenally technical-minded as I am, that's generally my answer. He got a patch or something. Anyway, on to today's game. It's going to be a ladder match featuring two of your favorite pros. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take place on the Dark Heart, so let's not waste any more time and go over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. Dark Heart, you know, you love it. You also love our players. Let's introduce them. Over here in the west, in the red corner, it's the very attractive, very quintessential, very German Zock. And he's going Seraphim instead of his customary Cybran. He's continuing his little taste tester from around the world and mixing it up. Always nice to see. And he's opening first land. Always nice to see. I don't know. He's been doing a little bit of UEF lately, a little bit of Seraphim. Haven't seen him play much Aeon yet. He's the only person these days that doesn't seem to be playing Aeon, or at least trying him. And he's going to go first land, second air. And his opponent over here in the east, in the blue corner, the very attractive, the very quintessential, the very Russian R.A. Zlo, or formerly Zlord, as you may know him as well. And he's going as ever more so customary Cybran, opening first land. And then a whole bunch, second, third, fourth, fifth, blah, 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 naval yards. And of course, Navy on the Dark Heart, absolutely essential, absolutely key. He who controls the water generally controls the game. And to that end, R.A. Zlo going his customary Cybran will have the advantage probably on the field in the short term. He's going to want to stop Zock from getting up to T3, assuming the game goes that far, and just wanting to get hold of those horrendous sub-hunters that can be such a game changer. And indeed, of course, the Seraphim cruisers, let's not forget how outrageously awesome they are. But Zock being a little bit more aggressive here in the early stages. Minute 3 gone already. We've got 3 Zooies coming across the map towards Zlo, one towards the main base, one coming down here to go after any NGs from Zlord who thinks they might be after this bottom landmass, and the other one going up here for the statistically probable trajectory of an engineer who's on a recycle mission. You can see he's gone up here, he was working on a Salem, and then immediately starts more naval yards, but I don't think he's going to get to finish it because the Zooi's going to turn up and ruin his day. Meanwhile, expanding engineer out behind it. It's a nice little maneuver from Zock. That should work pretty well. We have got a couple of NGs out from Zlo onto the middle island, but they are definitely going to come second to the ACU of Zock, who turns up in the middle, and that's going to be a dangerous little opening passage of play for Zlord. Looking like Zock could get control of the middle island. He's got control of the top, and he's also got the controlling force for the moment on the bottom island as well. Land factory promptly being thrown together on the cliff edge there by Zock. Engineer for Zlord, meanwhile, going straight after the reclaim. Seems to be a little bit more emphasis on Zlord's play on the reclaim. We'll take a look at the reclaim in a little while once the initial opening passages of play calms down. But 2 naval yards online, both currently building Suissels. That's T1 submarines for Seraphim, but a steady stream of Trident frigates coming out of the 4 naval factories. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 4 completed naval factories there for Zlord, continuously coming across the map, and that looks like it could be problems for Zock. And of course, if Zlord doesn't allow Zock to get any navy established at all, that will put the ball firmly in his court. You can really see how aggressively Zock has expanded. He hasn't even bothered going for the mass down here yet. He can pick that up at a later date. He just wants to take as much of Zlo's stuff as he can, but a deny there from Zock. Zlord trying to get a land factory together on that bottom island. Two Thams had other ideas. That looks like a hold down there for Zock. So in terms of map control, Zock looking really strong, but in terms of naval presence, Zlord has a chance to really pin Zock down here. These 2 naval yards out front taking an awful lot of fire. No units in the area naval-wise for Zock to be able to hit back with, so he's got his ACU doing a build here of a T1 torpedo launcher. Could take down a few units. We'll have a look at the kind of range It's got not quite long enough to hit the back two tridents. It might well take one of them out of commission though, but it suddenly moves, and now both of those naval yards are out of commission. However, there is another one further back here, and cheeky, look what Zock's doing. He says, I've got engineers up here, I'm going to be building my navy elsewhere. If you can get those in operation, it could be all over for Zlord very early on in this one. More naval yards being thrown together here, and you can see the mass differential already between these guys. Zock's heavy, aggressive, expansionist nature has netted him in a massive deficit, 55 to 21. Well done him. Zlord's got his ACU in the middle to try and do something about that. If he can nullify all of these 4 mass points, he should be in pretty good shape to pull some of that back, but this has got to be worrying him a little. There's a lot of mass on this bottom starting island. He can't let Zock sit on that for too long, otherwise he really will be in dire straits. Meanwhile, at the back, more T1 from Zlord, more denying of Zock's navy. He's not going to be able to hold on to these naval yards either. They bite the dust. And he's also discovered the ones up here, so Zock having no luck on the navy side whatsoever in this one. Siren creeping out as well, so Zlod's made the transition to T2 Navy. Things just getting tougher and tougher naval-wise for Zock. Strange game, and yet looking so good map control-wise. He's got a stream of Zooies coming out of the bottom landmass now, coming across the corner island. You can get in around the back and take out some of these naval yards. He might be able to stand a chance of getting some kind of naval game established. He's clearly going to lose all these, and he knows it as well. That's why he's paused production of whatever he was building there. Looks like a combination of engineers, submarines and whatnot. Zlord meanwhile has the engineers in play over here, and they're busy capping those Seraphim mass extractors. So Zlord trying to get back on top of things eco-wise, and also now he's got this Siren in the mix. He's able to take out some of these stretched positions, these positions slightly further away from the edges of the water. He's able to hit them at range with that Siren and now threaten a lot more of Zock's core mass. You can see it's normalizing a little bit, I think. 35 to 59. Finally, the last of those naval yards sink up there at the top for Zock. But he's thrown together a naval factory down here very quickly indeed. It's already up to T2, so he's instantly building destroyers. Zock needs to put this naval play to bed now for Zlord. He's still got the significantly larger eco, 65 to 31. Let's take a look at the reclaim. Zock has pulled in around 14.5k, just under 17k meanwhile for Zlo. I think that's probably gone in favor of Zlo more early on, and Zock is beginning to pull that back now, but that's what's been keeping Zlord in this, is that small amount of extra mass he's been gleaning from the reclaim. But look at this, look at the amount of T1 and T2 Zlo has on the field. It is now beginning to pressure this T1 naval factory. Zock's got his ACU out underneath, helping to assist the build on that. Lots of T1 frigates though building up, and now we're seeing finally some destroyers on the field joining this pack for Zock. The question is, will it be enough? Going straight after the Salem, just don't have enough HP and damage. But another second destroyer turns up. That will be enough to eliminate the front line of tridents. And Zlo just jostling backwards and forth, attacking on two fronts. And now being able to bring some of these Salems past here. He's been knocking out some of these extra mass points. It's going to be having a detrimental effect over time on Zock's eco. Yet more succumbing. Now 43 to 55, considerably healthier look eco-wise for Zlord. Zock finds himself very much in a pinch, sandwiched between these two naval forces coming from both directions. This has to be a key priority target, though, for Zlord. If he can take this out, Zock will have major issues contending with the T2. The problem is there's already a lot of T2 out on the field thanks to Zock's healthy eco advantage. Tridents come in first for Zlord, but they're not going to last very long. They're prioritizing the Salem now, and whoosh! Massive alpha strike. 2 volleys takes out the 2 Salems. And as long as he can hold the units at bay up here, he could potentially continue to press, but he decides against it. He's going to withdraw once again. It's probably not a bad decision. This Siren coming in around the back has to concern him slightly. Engineers trying to rebuild their mexes on the main island, just not getting the opportunity at the moment because of the consistent bombardment that's coming in from those Cybran naval vessels. 49 mass to 45. The game has changed drastically. Still a few land factories in play in the middle, though. Everything is paused. I do feel like Slow could take those out of commission. I guess he's just kind of using the passing tactic of these Salems to do damage as they go. But strong airplay as well from Zlord at minute 18 here. Lots of T1 bombers harassing this bottom landmass. Can't get any traction, or any more traction I should say. There's a ton of dead engineers around here. You can only assume that's down to T1 bomber attacks, taking some of the build capacity off that T2 naval factory. I worry though he's losing an opportunity here. If he'd have gone all out earlier on to take that out, Zock would be in a pretty pickle right now. Of course, that's the benefit of being able to see the entirety of the map. Kind of intel just probably wasn't available to Zlord earlier on. Salem drops down. So does a Seraphim destroyer and another one. And Zlord looks like he's got these units bundled up here at the top. That's quite a nasty little loss for Zock. Does have another couple of destroyers and a cruiser in play now, though, however. Cruiser going to be able to give him some extra long-range stinging power as well. If you can park it up here somewhere, if you can force these units back, park it up here somewhere, he can start to threaten Zlord's main base. Cheeky little engineer in the back here. But at the moment, Zock getting caught by outnumbered forces on the high seas every single time, pretty much. Now, core T2 mexes under pressure from Zlord. Zock still way ahead, though, 37 to 60. However, takes another dent as yet another T2 mex falls, 37 to 59. Eco's very much in flux at the moment. It's just all over the place at the moment. We've even got some jesters down here working on some of these T1 land factories. This is a fine example of the pros' ability to multitask. There's no direct one front anywhere. It's just carnage on many different places at once. And finally, fronts seem to be drawn once again. (52 to 37), and it does seem like Zock seems to be getting ahead naval-wise. I think the deficit finally catching up with Zlo, despite the fact Zlo seemed to be having much more success on the field in terms of the actual combat. He's been catching smaller groups of Zock's units caught alone and inflicting more damage, but Zock just out-ecoing him. And now Zlow's ACU under destroyer fire. Zlow gonna back up into the water. Zock now nearly twice the eco of his opponent. Gotta wonder, can Zlow do anything at this point to change his fortunes? Personally, I don't see it. 24 minutes gone in this one so far. And these Salems just not getting it done. Seraphim destroyers just too tanky. Zlow brings his ACU forward to try and pick up some of this mass. Zock aware of his sloppy start. Well, he's doing pretty well now for that start. It wasn't so much that he was sloppy, and I think Zlow is admitting defeat, takes a continuous barrage of torpedo fire, knows he can't do anything about this, thoroughly out-ecoed by Zock, and his ACU goes critical. Players discuss the game. Interesting little one there from these two. Zlow very much stronger on the Navy, but Zock with more land-based map control dotted around. I think it's one of those games that only really would have turned out this way with that combination of Cybran and Seraphim. Short one today, guys. More to come, though, from me in the future. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.